Hi friends, I've had so many of you reach out to me asking me homeschool questions, so I figured it'd be best if I just did a little series, maybe answer questions like why we chose to homeschool, what curriculum we're using, but today I'm going to keep the video short and simple. We're going to go over just my whys, so the 5 reasons why we chose to homeschool. Now ultimately there's a million reasons why we chose to homeschool, but I'm going to give you the top 5, and it's just been the best decision for our family, and I understand it's not for everybody, it's not for every family, but for our family, it has been the best decision that we've ever made. I will never regret the decision to have my kids home where I can educate them and watch them learn and grow and just be a part of that. So for us, it was a great decision. And I know it can be for you too. If you're thinking about it, please reach out. I love talking about this topic. I'm very passionate about it. My kids are thriving. They're doing better than they ever have before educationally. So anyway, I'm going to go over our top number 1 reason being safety. Now, I know you guys see the news. I know you guys see what's going on. Just so many tragedies. And I never quite felt safe dropping my kids off at school. I never felt like they were safe. And until I could get them back into my car at 3 o'clock when the bell rang, I just would always have this really uneasy feeling. So, anytime school would call, my heart would stop beating like, oh my gosh, please let everything be okay. And they would just say, oh, Mrs. Havens, your child forgot their lunch. And it's like, my heart was beating out of my chest. And my heart breaks for those parents that have received a phone call like that, where they say, we have an emergency, we need you to come to school now. Safety is a huge thing for me. I spend morning, noon, and night making sure my children are safe. And that's the most important thing to me, is that they are out of harm's way. And you drop them off at a place and you think that they're safe and they're supposed to be there learning, and some horrible things can happen. Now, we live in a big city, and I understand things like this can happen in small towns too, but we live in a big city that has a very high crime rate. And so stuff like this happens all the time in Las Vegas. And a lot of times it's just false alarms, but until it's not, right? So anyway, number 1, safety will always be the first reason why we chose to homeschool. Number 2, our school district is 49th out of 50 states for the worst education, okay? 49th out of 50. Now, I felt like no matter what curriculum I used, there's no way I could do worse, right? There's no way I could do worse. 49th out of 50. And even though my kids went to a beautiful charter school and they did their best, Nevada is still ranked 49th out of 50 states. Number 3, my third why, I like to teach my kids the way that they learn best. I have found great joy in being able to teach my creative kids with more markers and sidewalk chalk outside, doing their multiplication problems, and I have some children that love instructions on a worksheet and then get to work on their worksheet. I have some kids that just put their nose in a book and they can pick it up that easy, and some kids that needed me to explain things a little bit more in detail. So anyway, I can spend as much time with each kid as I need to just help them understand what is required of them today. And we're usually done by 11:30, 12. We start school around 8:39. And we are able to get so much done in our day because everything is so condensed and because I only have my 4 students. So anyway, I will go over more of that in future videos, what curriculum we're using and how much time we spend per day per kid. But let's get back on to our whys. Number 4 for me is that we have more time as a family to do the things that make us happy. Because homeschool does free up a lot of hours in the day, we have time for the kids to do private lessons for their sports of choice, or travel more, because we enjoy traveling, different times of the year where most families can only travel June, July, and August when the kids are out of school. We prefer to school. We're going to go ahead and school through the summer when it's just hot and miserable outside here in Vegas, 110, 115 degrees. And we're going to take off months like October and April when the weather's beautiful here, so that we can go and explore outside and go on hikes and stuff. So anyway, more time to do what we love and spend time together as a family by far with homeschooling. And number 5, 5th reason, well, 5th out of a million reason why we chose to homeschool, is just to minimize the negative influences. Obviously, when you're home, you basically have a little bit more say in who your kids hang out with, who comes over to your house, whose house they go to. But when you're at school, it's like they're just around who they're around. They're around their classmates. And a lot of times they are meshing with kids that are not like-minded, and so being home, they're with their siblings and they're able to have the same morals and values, and they know what's expected of them in this family. And I feel like, even though people say, well, what about them being social? they're plenty socialized. They are in so many activities. We have birthday parties. We have family dinners every week with my sisters and their kids and friends. And I just feel like the peer pressure problem far outweighs, you know, if they're okay socially. Some of the most socially awkward kids that I have ever met were public school kids. So I just don't believe, I think that's a big myth. My kids are very social, and we're homeschooled. So anyway, there's a lot more reasons why we chose to homeschool. I just went over a few of our favorites for today. I have another video coming soon on which curriculum we chose and why, but I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch, and I'll see you soon.